Hi, and welcome back to the channel. I'm kicking off a new series where I'm going to talk about some of my favorite photographers and show off a little bit of their work. Kind of go into why I find them inspirational or why I like them as a photographer a little bit. Today's video, we're going to start this off with Julius Shulman, who is considered probably one of the greatest architectural photographers of the 20th century. And I hope you enjoy. Let's take a look. Julius Shulman was an American photographer. He was born in Brooklyn in 1910 and then moved to California when he was 10 years old. He was known as a modernist and an architectural photographer for the most part. I think a lot of what he took kind of captured mid-century modern, especially in and around LA. He's probably considered one of the greatest architectural photographers in the 20th century, and he's worked on designs of many noted architects: Neutra, Eames, Koenig, Frank Lloyd Wright, and really just trying to bring their designs and their buildings to life. Through his photos. Primarily, most of what he did was black and white. He did do some color photography, but the black and white, from what I've read, is that it lent itself a little bit better for abstraction, which he favored. And he really kind of wanted to play around with like spaces and lines and seeing things a little bit differently. And so that's kind of why he black and white tends to lean a little bit better toward that. He actually went to, I believe, UCLA, and some of the first photos he took were for Neutra while he was in college. Uh, Shulman is probably best known for the series of the case study houses, which were model homes, and this is a picture of him doing one of the images for case study house 22, the stall house. These were model homes that were meant to kind of capture efficient and affordable living, just after the housing boom in Los Angeles. He was chosen to document these designs in the program, and he actually photographed most of the 36 houses that were included in this program. Again, they were really studies in light and shadow for him against views of the surrounding scenery in and around Los Angeles. Uh, I think the key to his success was really his choices for composition, and I'll show you some examples here in a moment. But really, just wanting to bring those structures to life and make them feel inviting, make you feel like you're actually in that moment, in that place, that sort of thing. For me, what I like most were his compositions. Obviously, the subject and the style. I think it's kind of harkens a little bit back to nostalgia sometimes, or at least the romantic idea of nostalgia of mid-century modern, and really a simpler time. And really his aesthetic and the way he saw things is actually real similar to how I tend to see a lot of my architectural photos. And I think he was an early influence on me on both photography and architecture. So that's kind of why I'm showing him off. We'll start off with this one here. It's an earlier image from Shulman. I believe was taken in 1939, but is listed as 1940. The Academy Theater, and you can kind of see the aim here was really just to capture the beauty of the building, the uniqueness of the building, with that spiral tower, and you can kind of see the contrast of the building against the darker day or night sky there. Hard to tell since this is a black and white image. Um, Interestingly enough, I believe from what I've read, this building has been used as a church actually since 1975, so it's still standing. But just kind of capturing the almost Art Deco of it, and it was just typical of some of the buildings that was in that time in Los Angeles. Kind of keeping in the theme of the theaters here, this was an image taken by Shulman in 1954 of the Capri Theater, or Capri, just depending on how you want to pronounce that. I know different people pronounce it differently. And really, just the focus here is the contrast of light and shadow. It's nighttime image, obviously, but really wanting to show the pop of the Capri marquee there on the left, the lighting in the lobby of the theater there in the middle, and then even the lighting around that candy entrance on the right. Um, this building, the last showing was, I think, 1974 on this one, and it was actually demolished in 1975. So this is kind of a capture of something that is lost. It's just kind of a record of history of this item, that this building, this theater that existed. So that's kind of neat. Switching gears a little bit to the case study houses. This one is the Frey residence, Frey house, that was taken in 1954. And it actually is kind of a unique residence. But with the with the circular item there on top of the roof, really the lines here are kind of the theme that start to show up a little bit more. The visualization of how those lines are leading you into the image. You have the roof line here and the pool line kind of dragging you into the picture here a little bit. And then you notice the reflection, you notice the people that are actually in the image here that are, taking in the sunshine. And so this was kind of an earlier image in that series. But I just kind of dig it. It's just got a whole, I'd say, 50s, 60s vibe to it, which is really neat. And so yeah, this is the Frey House image. Here is another image in that series. This one is the Alexander residence or Alexander House image. And again, you kind of see the diagonals showing up here as well. You actually have a line created with these stones here leading to the young lady. But what I liked on this image is that the bend in the roof here, the boomerang of the roof line here, I think kind of mirrors the boomerang in the mountains here, as well as kind of the those it's repetition of those lines, and juxtaposed with the circular stones here and the lawn. It's an interesting image. I think it caught my eye when trying to look through images of his that I liked. Again, brings that 1950s, 1960s vibe. I think that's one thing that he was really good at, was capturing that moment or capturing that feel with these images. Next up, we have one of my favorite images. I actually have this image on my cell phone wallpaper right now. This is the Chewy house, Chuey, Chewy. And I think you start to see some of that pulling in a little bit more of the surrounding sky or area there. Again, you see that diagonals drawing you into the image here. I like this one in particular because it is a nighttime picture and I love night photography. But I think it really kind of brings some of the uh, charm of this house. It's kind of got this unusual extension here leading toward the pool, and that's kind of reflected in the pool here, which is kind of neat. It's just makes it a unique image for me, and it just for some reason speaks to me. Um, Funny enough, I saw not too long ago that this house was actually up for sale. Not that I have money for that sort of thing or anything like that, because I think it was listed for like 15 million and probably needed some work. But just kind of funny that it's still around, and even though this is kind of capturing a moment in time here in 1960. Yeah, 1960. This house is still around and still available, I guess, in the 2020s. So 60 years later, which is interesting. Next up, we'll kind of veer off a little bit into another image they found super interesting. This is the Duffield Lincoln Mercury showroom image that was taken in 1963. And you can see that Shulman very purposefully used this very bright, I'm guessing white, line from the parking lot and lined up with the building to kind of create almost like a division of space for this area over here with the lawn and the showroom, I'm guessing, away from the parking lot. It creates such a visual striking visual, I should say. Um, and that line just kind of carries through the whole image. So it's really interesting. I also noticed that with the daytime and the sunlight, it created another diagonal here, which I'm sure he saw that, and I didn't see that until later on after looking at this image, and it really kind of frames this young lady here on the left. Um, the cars are kind of secondary here, but it's really just the architecture of the building and leaning into that those lines to create um, such a visual that's unique for anybody who saw a picture like this. They would, I think that you would really pause when you saw this. And finally, we'll look at probably Shulman's, I would say, most famous image. This is the case study house number 22, comma, two girls, also known as the Stall House, Stahl, Stall House. And it was taken twice in from him, but this one in particular I love, and really is probably the first image that really caught my attention of Schulman. Uh, Again, the diagonals are present, kind of drawing yourself into the picture, but it's almost telling a story of two different spaces here. And I think it may be a little bit of a touch of the one that we just looked at with the Lincoln Mercury dealership, but really just kind of creating the space of the two women here inside the room, um, chit chatting, listening to music, hanging out. Maybe it's a party, who knows? And they're kind of showing off the comforts of LA life in this era. And then you have the deck here where he's shooting from, which kind of goes off into the ether here a little bit and into the nightlife of Los Angeles and the lights of Los Angeles. Um, it again is just kind of almost a juxtaposition of light and shadow. And I love this image. I think this is one of the first images that I fell in love with both for photography and architecture. And again, it captures just really that moment or that vibe from the 1950s, 1960s. This image was taken in 1960. I mentioned it was taken a second time. That one you'll tend to find more in color. And I was taken for Playboy, I want to say, a little later on. Same house, same angle, and I believe there's a gentleman actually standing in the room here, but this is the one I love. So this is the one I'm highlighting. So there you go. Um, but yeah, I think it's just there's a whole lot going on, but it's such a simple image, like capturing that moment of what life was like in that at that day, that night, that year. So again, that was something that I think that he was really good at. So I hope you enjoyed some of those images and kind of what I was trying to highlight for you in his work. Obviously, it's just a few examples of what Julius Shulman shot. Um, Unfortunately, he passed away in 2009, and I'm sure you can read more about him on the internet. But I encourage you to seek out some of his images. and maybe take a deeper look than I was able to give here in this video. There is a documentary. It's narrated by Dustin Hoffman, and I don't think it's a very long one. I think it's on Vimeo, but you could probably find it elsewhere. It's called Visual Acoustics: The Modernism of Julius Shulman, and I would encourage you to go seek that out and go watch it for some more information and kind of go a little bit deeper on this really cool American photographer. Thanks for listening. Hope to see you in the next one. Like and share all the good things. Talk to you later.